Is the Phoenix real estate market shifting? I believe it is, and we're going to go over the facts and figures that'll let you know if now is a good time to make a move. Be it buying, selling, renting, or investing. Stick around to the end. You don't want to miss any of this information. Jennifer, take it away.
A new year, new listings. In January, there were 10,474. And the previous month, in December, there were only 5,874. Last year, in January, there were 7,583. And typically, January is the month with the most listings because a lot of people delist their homes in the fourth quarter because of the holidays or just choose not to list during the holidays. And they say, hey, we'll just list at the beginning of the year. And that's how you get a lot of listings.
Wow, right out of the gates with some interesting information when it comes to new listings. There's a ton of homes on the market. Buyers, now's the time to get out there, run the numbers, talk to your lenders. You don't have one, give me a call. We'll make sure we connect you with the best of the best. That being said, sellers, you have to get your property in prime position so everybody wants to see your house. Follow the 3 Ps, price, product, and promotion, and that property will sell. You want to talk about how to get that done? Again, give me a call. Moving forward, we can see that being inventory is so high, it's going to play a big role down the road in this video when it comes to what need be done for either side, buyers and sellers. And remember, sometimes buyers are sellers and sellers are buyers. So pay attention. This information can help the party that knows what's what, and it will hurt the ones that don't know what they're doing. It's favor time. If you like this video, please click like, subscribe, and leave us a comment. It truly helps this channel grow. Do it now before you forget.
Active listings. In January, there were 24,593. The previous month, there were 24,837. And last year, this time, there were 22,212.
Is there a direct correlation between new listings and active listings? Absolutely. Is there reason for concern? Not in my professional opinion. Here's the thing. As new listings being added to the market will increase active listings if buyers aren't purchasing homes, which is the case, then that inventory starts to build. But if you look at the numbers, we're not that far off what we were last year or last month. So carry on. Buyers, again, if you're thinking about pulling that proverbial trigger, now's the time to lock and load.
Up next, closed listings. In January, there were 4,790. The previous month, there were 6,188. And last year, this time, there were 4,222. And the reasoning is because most of these homes that close in January are contracted in November or December during the holidays, which it's typically slower.
Thank you, Jennifer. I love the fact that we're up from last year. However, I'm not thrilled that we're down from last month. That being the case, as a year ends and a new year begins, many buyers and sellers may have eaten too much at holiday parties, or they're concerned about what their taxes are going to look like. Could be a combination of both. It's nothing to be alarmed about, but I will say why I believe some of the buyers are holding off, and sellers, well, they're adding their properties to the market, which we saw by the numbers of active and new listings. However, we also saw that closed listings are down, and I'm going to tell you why. Won't even keep you hanging on that much longer. Here we go. If you're thinking about buying a home or want to know what your current property is worth, download the MisterRogersHomes app. It's free. It's private. We don't sell your information, and we're at your service. In the bottom right corner, click more. Get your buyers, sellers, and or relocation guide. We also started adding vendors, so whatever you might need in the realm of real estate services, there they are.
I don't know if this is still the crowd favorite, average sales price. In January, it was $643,643. In December, it was almost $20,000 less at $625,513. And last year, this time, it was $624,216. So prices are going up since last year, but you can see that you get a better deal during the holidays.
Great minds think alike, Jennifer, or at least two real estate agents' minds think alike. I've been saying this for the longest of times. Prices of homes in the Valley of the Sun are not going down. Yes, there are people that are going to say, and that's fine, leave me a comment, we can talk about it, that sooner or later the real estate market is going to crash, or at least prices of homes are going to go down. That's true. What goes up, I guess, must come down. But what we're seeing is, so far, that's not happening. It is causing more inventory to pile up as new sellers are putting their houses on the market, and some buyers aren't exactly ready to pay that price. But what might happen is they're going to pay that price. What I suggest, and from a numbers point of view, is see where you are comfort level wise. Find the home that fits your needs, the payments that fit your needs. If that price that you pay for a house goes down X amount or goes up Y amount, you're probably not making the move because of that fluctuation. If you're comfortable and safe and happy, sooner or later, and it's proven that real estate will pay off for you. And even if you break even but had years of enjoyment and then the property is paid off, you still have a nice little nest egg. That is really what it's all about.
Sold to list price ratio. In January, it was 97.17%. The previous month, it was 97.22%. And last year, it was basically at the same 97.20%. And what this means is if it's 100%, the seller got their full list price.
Boy, did I get lucky on that one. Jennifer gave us the numbers of sold to list ratio, and she gave us an excellent definition. My job is done. Let's move on to that next fascinating real estate statistic for the Phoenix metro area.
Monthly supply of inventory. In January, it was 5.1. The previous month was 3.6. And last year, this time, it was 5.3. And it just goes to show that, January is the month with the most listings. So we have the most supply of inventory.
Thank you, Jennifer, for that information. I'm not exactly doing backflips over the monthly supply of inventory levels. However, I do believe it was going to catch up to us. And as I always say, a healthy amount of inventory somewhere between 2 months low, 4 months high, mean average 3 months, and here we are over 5 months. Same as last year, so no big reason for concern. Yet I do hedge this. We can see that new listings are being added to the market more than they're closing, and active listings are starting to pile up. If you don't remember, go back and look at the numbers. This video is here forever and ever. Then we take the main factor. Home prices are not going down, which is not exactly a bad thing, because here's how I view it. If you're purchasing a property, you don't want to overpay. But as soon as you buy the home of your dreams, you certainly don't want the prices to go down. You want to continue to see the value of your property increase. Sellers currently, right now, aren't seeing their products or their houses being bought ASAP, but the value is going up. So are they willing to wait that longer period? And we'll see in just a couple of minutes what that period is turning out to be for that higher value. Or are they willing to look at an offer and say, we will do some of these repairs and or take a lower price, which probably won't mean a loss. It just means not as much as they believe they could get. So the wheels on the bus go round and round, and sooner or later, what was a seller's market will become a buyer's market. And now that it is a buyer's market, if all things being even, the next thing that will happen is it will become a seller's market. But for now, buyers, you're up. Get out there. Find that home.
Listing success rate. In January, it was 61.3%. The previous month, 67%. And last year, this time, 60.7%. And what this basically means is that 30% of the listings get canceled or don't close.
Maybe we should call it listing unsuccess rate. I'm joking. I'm a joker. Let's look at it glass half full. 2 out of 3 properties thereabouts are selling, so that's good news. Also keep in mind, it doesn't mean that if there's 3 houses on the block, house number 1 and house number 2 are going to sell and house number 3 will not. Sometimes it's more of a micro versus macro situation, meaning some subdivision styles of houses, areas are going to sell quicker in any market, and some are more niche products and won't sell or take longer to sell. But when you take the big picture, macro, then that's kind of where you say we're at that 60 plus or minus percent. So 1 out of 3 houses may sit longer or won't sell at all. 2 out of 3 will. Hope that makes sense.
Average days on market in January. Wow, this is kind of the highest I've seen in a long time. 92 days. The previous month it was 85, and last year this time it was only 81.
I'm not the kind of guy that likes to one-up anyone. I like to level up everyone. However, I'm taking Jennifer's wow and going yikes. We are at a high rate of days on market. But as the picture is now clear, we can see why. That's why we have these videos. We are adding more new listings. Active listings aren't moving quite as fast. Closed listings are down. Prices are up. All of that is why success of selling is a little bit tougher. Monthly supply of inventory is higher, and now we see days on market are longer. Also keep in mind that days on market is not how long it takes a property to sell. In other words, if we put a sign in their front yard, 92 days currently is not how long it would take to be sold. It's how long it would take for the property to go under contract. After it goes under contract, there still are a couple of steps that most buyers and sellers will go through, that being the home inspection and the appraisal, and then ultimately a seller gets money in their piggy bank and a buyer gets the keys to the new home. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you watch this one. Until next time, please take care. God bless America. I'll talk to you soon.